We are in England, amid the Victorian era. Recently, a new book has been published. Its name is The Origin of Species. Since its release, it has been the cause of many discussions between scientific and religious people. The reason is clear. It could propose that the man wasn't created by God, but by nature, in a long and complex process called evolution. Charles Darwin was born at Shrewsbury, England on February 12, 1809. Since he was a kid, he was very fond of collecting all sorts of things: shells, seals, franks, bird eggs, and minerals. That taste was what led him to be a naturalist. He described himself as a very naughty boy, but very tender and humane. In his early school years, he didn't learn much at classes, owing to two reasons. The first one was that the school was strictly classic and conservative, and nothing else was taught, except ancient geography and history. The other cause was that he was not a good student. He even said that during his whole life he was never capable of mastering any language. When he left school, he was for his age neither high or low in it. Everybody considered him as a very ordinary boy, rather below the common standard in intellect. As a young, he was very fond of angling, shooting, and experimental science. He liked chemistry so much that his friends called him Gas. He started his studies on medicine at Edinburgh University, but he was apathetic on it because he considered the lectures were very dull and tedious. He was more interested in philosophical focuses, so he left his physician studies and his father decided that he would become a clergyman. Another important event occurred by this time. He knew Professor Henslow, who would be his friend for a long time and would affect his whole career from then and onward. I may say that no one could imagine that one day he would do something important. He was much undecided, vague, and disordered. He got bored with these and lost interest in things the same way. On the other hand, he was persistent on things he liked and put effort on what he wanted to achieve. He started his cleric studies at Cambridge in 1828, but once more he had a change of mind, owed to Professor Henslow's influence, and finally decided to study natural history, getting a degree and finishing his studies. It is December 27, 1831. Darwin has started a new odyssey. He sailed on the Beagle, a ship that will take him to Galapagos Islands and will lead him into a new world of discoveries. Based on the works of Lamarck and his grandfather Erasmus Darwin, and inspired by what he saw at Galapagos, he proposed the so-known evolution theory. It said that all species have one common ancestor, and they are adapted to the place where they live. According to this theory, a population of individuals from the same species presents variability from one individual to another. The individual with the most apt feature is the one which survives, and so that feature is inherited to the next generation. This way, the adaptation leads to speciation, and thus new species are born. Later, in 1859, he published the book On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection, where he captured his theories and thoughts. Of course, that was a cause of polemic among the religious society. They couldn't accept they were not a superior race created by God to rule over the earth, but they were like all the other animals on the planet. Charles Darwin died on April 19, 1882, due to several minor heart attacks at the age of 73. His last words were spoken to his wife Emma. "I am not in the least afraid to die." Despite his death, his theories keep being a matter of study and argument nowadays. His discoveries completely changed the biology as it was known and give the humanity another clue to understand its existence.